It's been nearly 13 years since Jessica and Renz first held hands, not knowing what lay ahead. They met in a time of uncertainty, both looking for direction, not realizing that their greatest journey was just beginning, with each other. From the start, life wasn't easy. They faced financial struggles, waking up some days unsure of how to stretch what little they had. The weight of unpaid bills and the uncertainty of tomorrow loomed over their heads like a storm they couldn't outrun. But through it all, they had each other. In those early days, there were countless sleepless nights. Nights where Jessica lay awake, worrying about how they would make ends meet, how they would give their boys the life they deserved. And Renz, determined but exhausted, worked tirelessly, always trying to find a way, a plan, something to lift them out of the difficult spot they were in. Sometimes it felt like the world was closing in, but every time, just when it seemed too much to bear, they'd find a reason to smile, to laugh, to remind themselves that love was enough to keep them going. Their home, though small and often cluttered with toys, school papers, and laundry, was filled with love. The laughter of their boys echoed in every room, filling even the quietest moments with joy. Their sons, with their bright smiles and boundless energy, were the reason Jessica and Renz kept pushing forward. They became the heart of their world, and every time Jessica or Renz looked into their eyes, the worries seemed a little lighter. The boys didn't know the struggles their parents faced. To them, everything was perfect. Jessica and Renz had built a world where their kids could feel safe, loved, and cherished. It wasn't just about surviving anymore, it was about building a life worth living, not just for them, but for their boys. Their bond as a family grew stronger with every challenge they faced. There was something beautiful in the way they tackled life's hardships, turning each struggle into an opportunity to grow. Together they learned to turn struggle into strength. Every sacrifice they made felt worth it when they saw their boys' happiness, when they saw the family they had built. It was never about the material things, it was about the love they poured into each other, the love that held them together. But love wasn't always easy. There were days when Jessica and Renz found themselves on opposite sides, fighting over money, over stress, over small things that seemed so big in the moment. The weight of the world pressed on their shoulders, and sometimes they felt like they were fighting an uphill battle. Renz would come home late, tired and frustrated, while Jessica, having dealt with the kids all day, would be on edge, her patience worn thin. Their words would clash, emotions running high as they vented their frustrations. But no matter how loud the fights became, they always ended the same way, with the quiet realization that they were on the same team, that their love was stronger than any argument. Renz would pull Jessica close, whispering apologies, and she would lean into him, both knowing that they couldn't let the hard times tear them apart. They fought hard, but they loved harder. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. They both understood that loving someone wasn't about avoiding conflict. It was about growing through it, becoming stronger together. Each fight became a stepping stone, another chapter in their story that brought them closer. They learned how to communicate, how to support each other even when things felt impossible. As the years passed, they realized that they were still figuring out what came next. Their boys were growing fast, and with each passing day, the future felt more uncertain. Life was full of uncertainties, new challenges, new responsibilities, but one thing remained constant: the love they shared. Jessica and Renz had become experts at navigating life's twists and turns. They didn't have all the answers, but they knew that whatever happened, they would face it together. And somehow, that was enough. They started to dream about their future, imagining the day when they would watch their boys become men. They pictured graduation ceremonies, first jobs, and eventually their sons starting families of their own. They dreamed of seeing their boys achieve the goals they had worked so hard to set for them. It wasn't just about giving them a good life, it was about giving them the tools to build a life of their own, one filled with happiness, love, and purpose. But their dreams didn't stop at their kids. Jessica and Renz saw themselves growing old together, their hands still intertwined, still facing every challenge side by side. They talked about the places they wanted to visit, the adventures they still hadn't had. They imagined traveling the world, experiencing new cultures, and finding excitement in the unexpected. They knew there were still many adventures waiting for them, and even though they were parents, they hadn't forgotten how to dream, how to seek out the joy in life's journey. Their love had changed over the years. It had matured, deepened, and become something that couldn't be broken by the storms of life. Where once it was built on passion and excitement, now it was built on trust, on the knowledge that they could weather anything together. They had survived the hard times, and now they were ready to thrive. Their love was stronger than it had ever been, and every day they found new ways to show it. In the quiet moments when the kids were asleep and the house was still, they would sit together, reminiscing about the past and dreaming about the future. Jessica would rest her head on Renz's shoulder, and he would smile, knowing that he had everything he ever needed right there beside him. The journey hadn't been easy, but it had been worth it. They had built a life, a family, and a love that could withstand anything. And so Jessica and Renz's story didn't end with just surviving the hard times. It was about thriving, about achieving the dreams they'd set for their kids, and about embarking on exciting adventures of their own. Every day they grew stronger, their love deepening in ways they never expected. The best part? They weren't finished yet. They were just getting started.